Welcome to Dan and Andrea Test Everything. My name is Dan Redmond, and joining me today,
Andrea Borcha.
Andrea, I have an exciting test to talk to you about this week.
Oh, nice. I'm super excited.
You know, last week we covered a side hustle. This week I'm covering more of a main hustle. Is that what you call it? You don't call it a main hustle. What do you actually call your...
No, you probably call it your like mainstream life, your main job, your
employment?
Well, because the side hustle is supposed to be like probably like your actual income revenue stream. So this is like legit then, what you're talking about. This isn't like a little side hustle, little project. This is like actually you can build a life on it.
I took a bigger shot. So in my main squeeze, as we'll call it, we are, of course, reliant on generating new business, as a lot of companies are. And this week, we decided to try out an auto dialer to make cold calls. One day blitz. We came prepared with 2,000 records. What kind of damage could we do?
That sounds intense, like scary intense.
Intense. Have you done any cold calling?
I hate it. I am not a cold caller. I'm not a fan. I actually do better in person cold impersoning, but cold calling, picking up the phone and calling somebody randomly is just not my thing. But I feel like you're pretty good at that.
You know, I have some, I'm not going to pat myself on the back too much. I have some natural tendency there and natural ability, but I wouldn't say that I have strong technical ability. I've maybe made 5,000 cold calls in my life, which in the grand scheme of things, you talk to like a groomed cold caller, they'll call that like last year. You know?
Well, how many did you make yesterday?
I'm glad you asked.
Of that 5,000.
I'm glad you asked. So we tried a platform. It's called Connect&Sell. And basically what the system does is it's a big time savings, like cut out all the unnecessary dialing and redialing efforts, which plagues cold callers. So just to kind of give you an idea and baselines, when you're doing normal cold calling, I'll put air quotes around normal cold calling, you'll probably make about 20 dials in an hour. And that includes talk time, hang up time, chug a cup of coffee time, regroup, collect your self-esteem after someone slams the phone down on you. all included, like yeah. 20 is like, yeah, that's pretty fair. You're going to do that. And
this is you actually typing in the phone number too.
Yeah. And normally if you're saying no software, nothing at all, yeah, you're literally like punching in the number, you're pushing go, you're listening to the ringer, you're waiting for a voicemail 85% of the time. You're leaving a voice. Hi, this is Dan, and I've reached your voicemail. I would very much... I don't say that. I don't use that voice. But if I were, you'd get the point.
That voice might sell.
Yeah.
I feel like that's almost a test within itself. See, the marketer in me is coming out, and I just want to test the heck out of that. I'm just like, which Dan voice converts better in voicemail?
Here's what I found. For me, what works not only for my conversion ability, but for my soul is smiling the entire time I'm doing it. I'm doing nothing but smiling. I also wear crazy outfits. I listen to loud music. I get in a total vibe. Like, why you always in a mood? It's me.
Nice.
I'm in that mood when I cold call. Just a huge vibe.
I love that.
It works for me. Like I can see because that. I have to. This might not be for everybody, but for me, I have to have that sensibility to overcome objection and to handle rejection. There's a lot of actions, and I have to be in like the right frame of mind to cross those.
Yeah. And those are all negative actions, not like affection.
Yeah. So I sent you a little video, and I'll put this video up on our feed as well, or in our
Okay.
YouTube channel so that
All
you can
right.
see it. And it's going to be what you're going to
All
see
right.
is me live and in action using this tool. First, I'd like you to comment
Okay.
on my outfit and tell me on a
Uh,
scale of David Hasselhoff to Screech RIP, how good do I look in a polyester suit?
I mean, you look pretty slamming. I think the backwards hat with the polyester suit just really brings it home. It's
It
that,
it
like,
does.
it's a statement. It's a statement.
I look hard. I look tough, right? Like that's a toughness thing. I look tough.
Yeah.
So what
I
you
mean, you
see in
look
this
like
video, are you're playing?
I'm ready. Well, I can play whenever you're ready, but like, I feel like with this outfit, like, I feel like you're the kind of guy that like bursts through the doors at like high school reunion and is just like, yeah, I'm here. That's what this outfit is.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
It is. So let
You
me
ready
talk
me
you
to
through it
play?
while you're watching that. So what
Okay.
you're seeing
Should I
is, yeah, go
play?
ahead and hit play.
All right.
So you'll see
Okay.
me vibing a little
It's
bit,
playing.
getting ready, getting in the mindset, getting the energy up, even though I'm sitting there. And what I'm looking at on screen is I'm watching this dialer pull in 20 numbers at once, dial all of them at the same time, looking for one person to connect with it. And as soon as one person connects, bam, I get patched right to that person. There's a little tone that I hear in my headphones. It goes boop. And then on my screen, I see the person's name, their company, industry, any other details that I've previously collected about them. And I'm off and running. You go right in with words. So as soon as you hear dial tone, you go in with words with the system. All in all, I'll give you like
Wow.
the total numbers for yesterday. It was wild. Myself and one other associate, we dialed 863 people.
In one day. That's insane.
5 hours.
In one day. That's amazing.
5 hours.
That in
We
five
got we
hours,
got
not even a
95.
full day. In five
Yeah,
hours.
95. We spoke to 95 people, which is bizarre. We had a person on the phone every 1 minute and 24 seconds. It was piping us to a new person. So just literally like one person after another, which is exciting and exhausting at the same time. Like you get through an hour and you've already spoken to 10 people potentially. Like it was nuts. We had a brand new script. By the end of the day, it was like flawless. Because you're like able to,
Wow.
we both have like an improv background. You're able to, oh, okay, these like 3, 4, 5 word combinations didn't really resonate. I could tell that this person became interested or changed their tone after this particular thing. So by the time you get through the day, you're humming through these things. Out of those 95 people,
I mean, I do.
we booked 12 meetings, 12 new business meetings, which honestly, like in my past doing cold calling, that's like 15 business days worth of calling to get 12 meetings. No joke. It's like it was insane. So we did that in
That's
a day.
amazing. Well, not only that, but it sounds like a great way to test a script, right? Is to really kind of hone in on your message. At the very least, because marketing, it would take me weeks to kind of get enough data and test through messaging. You can test messaging with basically 100 people in a
Totally.
day in 5 hours of calling.
It's a good point because leading up to it, I wrote out a script. It was really verbose. It was for objections I thought I was going to hear. And within 2 calls, I threw the whole thing out. Scrapped the whole thing.
Really?
It was just way too much. I didn't need any of it. We ended up closing
Wow.
appointments with the most simple possible variation of what we needed to say. It was just kind of addressing people. Hey, I'm calling because you are in this industry. We've had success in that industry before. I think it's worth 15 minutes of your time. Most of the calls lasted no more than 2.5 minutes.
Wow.
and we had booked
Nice.
appointments.
So in 2.5 minutes, you would book an appointment for a follow-up call for like 15 minutes, basically. Did you actually get like their
Yeah,
availability on the
yeah.
call and book it? Dang.
So I
Not
like to
bad.
do that in a really nimble way where I just get their email and then I send them a time and tell them to make adjustments if they need to. That's how I like to play that thing because I
Nice.
hate the back and well, what about your Tuesday? Nope. My Wednesday. How about
Yep.
Thursday? Nope. Friday. How about June? It's like the worst conversation. You get like fatigued from it, or I do at least, you know.
And so instead you just book a time and they can change it if they need.
Yeah. So that's how we played it. So crazy. And this the company. So Connect&Sell does test drives. Like this is what they call like a test drive, so where you can just trial it out for a day. Um, and not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but they said that we're like one of their best test drives that we,
Nice.
really made some hay. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So I'll put up a couple
So
videos on the YouTube. You'll see first me vibing because why not? And I've got like a quick screenshot of some of what I was looking at on screen so you can see what that looks like. And you'll see some of I think both of the videos that I have that I'll post turned into meetings within like 3 minutes or first three calls made. So
that's pretty
you'll see
incredible.
my supreme
So
excitement.
did Connect and Sell get the numbers by industry for you? So they fed you all that, or did you have to feed the system and what they're selling is just the mechanism to do that many phone calls?
Yeah, exactly. So we created the list. We came in with the lists. I spent, a good 5, 6 hours or so refining it, pulling together the people that we want to talk to and making sure that we had the right email addresses, the right phone numbers, all that stuff. So it was a little painstaking to get that together, but like that extra effort just it really changed our trajectory in what we did. I think if we had bad data, I'd be singing a different song today for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. How many numbers did you feed into the system?
We had 2000 about 2000 records or like individual contacts that we added in and we got through 863 dials of that. So almost half of what we brought to the table.
Do you think you could have done another 5 hours and gotten through the whole list? Like if you did half in 5 hours, do a 10-hour day of this?
You couldn't physically do it. I just think that you would need to really like do a lot of cocaine to do 10 hours of cold calling.
That,
Like there's probably some
I
people.
mean, that explains the 80s, right?
Yeah, yeah. You'd have to really be Jordan Belfort and any of the Wolves
Yeah.
of Wall Street to make 10 hours of cold calling. But we've got a lot of follow up to do,
You've got some.
as a result. So it was a pretty crazy test. Exciting to see what the
Yeah, I'm really
actual
curious.
business impact is from it.
Yeah. I think we're going to have to do a follow up because I'm really curious to see out of those 12 how many actually converted to
Oh, you
customers.
got it. Follow up will happen. Speaking of
Oh,
which,
sweet. Yeah. How's your digital domain going? Your
oh, are you
Earth
talking about my
2.
secondary residence online?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. It, I I heard that they have started landscaping or something, right? They've actually started like building out the additional experience.
Yeah, so what they released this week, Earth 2 made a major announcement this past week, and it was that they had a demo of their terrain. So, an actual, as they're calling it, in game look of exactly what you would see if you're on the ground within the digital world, or a sample of it in one biome. So, they're referring to them as separate biomes. This happened to be a region between Austria, near the border of Austria, Germany, and it was a dramatic open field with mountains and flowers and trees. The video had a flyby where you're actually flying through trees. You shoot up to space, you look back at Earth, and you can see this small pinpoint that you speed towards at 1,000 miles an hour and stop right before you get to a bed of flowers, and then you turn and you face and you see the horizon. Really dramatic video. I It made me slightly skeptical, to be quite honest, because I come from Second Life and Minecraft and all these other things, and it just didn't strike me as something possible for in-game operation. But nerds on the feed that were way nerdier than I was were chiming in like, "No, dude, you don't know the frame rate and the introspection of the duality of the," and I was kind of like lost in the nerding of it. But nevertheless, it was impressive. So the one thing that I haven't seen is dramatic impact on the actual gameplay itself as it exists right now. So when we last spoke, I invested a total of $30 into the platform, buying my various tiles in various regions. I also convinced a buddy, a buddy that I knew is like he plays it fast. He just dove right in face first, and I actually made $18 on referral fees from his purchases. He went in pretty big.
Wow, he must have. Isn't it like you get 5% or
Yeah,
something?
5%.
Ha!
So that was just 5% of what he spent. I don't know the math on that, but I think he did pretty good. So that was my
Have
total then investable assets was $48. Today, my portfolio is worth $76.62.
$72.62?
Yeah. So that's pretty good
Why?
increase over 2
But
weeks. If you're talking about,
why
like
did that happen?
any other type of investment, that's a 20%, 20 to 30% increase in value. But for what? It's not like I'm going to turn around and just sell my $76 and cash out. I'm either in this to make $1 million or zero. I don't care about 80. It's not something I'm interested in selling right now. So I'm just curious to see how it further pans out. But all signs point
With
to.
Earth 2, and their whole concept. I mean, they just showed you empty terrain. Is the whole world empty? Because when I was kind of browsing around, there's buildings on their Earth 2 platform. Like you can actually buy your house. But the video you said was showing more like trees and landscapes. So does that mean like we could start from scratch? You could build a virtual house on Earth 2 somewhere else where there might be a different house that already exists?
So what you're saying kind of taps into what a lot of people were wondering as well. Like, okay, great, you showed us nature. It's interesting. 50-50 kind of people buying that it was realistic or possible or not. The nerds all bought in. I wasn't nerdy enough to buy fully in. But a lot of people were asking about buildings, how buildings will work. People wanted to see that instead of terrain. They wanted to see actual engagement with the world rather than what it's going to look like. I think I agree with that. Like, I would rather see, like, okay, what are the dynamics of this? What are the tools? What are the resources that you have to construct something so that you can think ahead and plan that a little bit? But that wasn't there.
I think what just kind of blows my mind with Earth 2 is like so many people have no idea what this is and how much money has been invested in something that people still have no idea what it is. Like, you don't know if there's going to be buildings. You don't know how you're going to interact. You don't know how you're going to, it doesn't really seem like it has a Second Life concept. Like, Second Life started first with, hey, you're people in this world, and just kind of visualizing the next level of like a messenger platform. Essentially, there were chat rooms where you came in as your little furry self if that's what you wanted. But here you're buying property, and we were talking about this last time. Like, you're buying a diamond mine in Africa. Well, is it a diamond mine, or do I have to go in and make the mine just because I know diamonds are there, or no, or I don't know.
All good
Right?
questions. I'll tell you this. This will supremely disappoint me if it works out the same way. But when I jumped on Second Life, it was okay, cool. I'm having fun customizing my character. Once I got that to a point where I A felt good about the character representation of myself, and B that I was just bored with the customization element of it, my next thought was, now how do I get my character nude and get other characters around me nude? That's what I'm looking for.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
will Earth 2 be another platform that offers that type of experience? Or will the real builders and
Well,
architects of universes come together and turn it into a non nudity laden experience?
I mean, the biggest difference I'm seeing between the two, and correct me if I'm missing something, is Earth 2 doesn't have people. There's no people, there's no characters. It's just land that people are doing a land grab on. But Second Life started people first and then started building out the world. So I'm wondering if everyone's just buying land and there's no real way to interact with it. And we're just like, all right, cool. I can float around this planet and visit where the flags are. I mean, it is interesting to see how many flags are in my neighborhood, but that's about it.
I don't know. All good questions. They've given some allusion to you being able to interact with other people and having it be a way to connect with people that are all over the globe. And I think there was some like really delicately written story about someone being right next to their family member in this like beautiful place, region of the earth that they would never be able to travel together, and especially since they can't see each other during quarantine. Those things are what people are speculating, but again, it's hard sometimes to decipher between what people think it will and should be and what the end result's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Well, it's an interesting experiment. I made a serious, well, not a serious attempt. I made a moderate attempt to purchase my own land, but then I just kind of got lost floating around the world and like trying to figure out what to buy, and so I got bored and moved on. But I'll make another attempt
I need that
soon,
5% credit
probably this
back.
week. I
Gotta hit
know.
hit me.
I know. Well, because the thing is, when I started actually like looking around, and I was like, oh, this would be a cool place to own. I was like, oh no, it's too expensive. So I have to finding some place that's cheap enough that I actually might want to put $10 down on, just to see what would happen. It would be interesting.
Well, I hope you
So I
find
guess we're gonna have to keep following up on this.
yeah, I hope you find a great virtual residence for future digital Andrea.
Thank you. I'm at new headquarters in Bali. Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe and like